Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. As always, I'm really excited that you are here. If you are new, my name is Mary and I'm your go-to girl for crafting a closet that dreams are made of right from scratch. In today's video, I want to show you how to make a very cute summer dress. No pattern needed, just follow along this video and you'll end up with a very cute dress. Now let's talk about the pattern. So you'll need two measurements to make this dress. One is your bust circumference and the length of the dress. So take your measuring tape and put it around your bust and measure your whole bust circumference. What you need to measure next is your distance between this point at your armpit until you reach your waistline. So put your hand in your waist like so and put your measuring tape like here at your point and measure until you reach your waist. So for me, I have 31 centimeter, 31 or 32 centimeters. And now let me show you the pattern. This is my bust circumference, 90 centimeters, and I will divide it by 2, 45, the length of the dress. Let's start with the bodice. The front bodice, the length of the front bodice will be this measurement, 45, multiplied by 1.7. This 1.7 can be less or more if you want more gathered or less gathered bust. So here you can put 1.5 to maybe, and also add seam allowance to this measurement. And I will add 2 cm seam allowance, and for me it will be 78 centimeters. The width of the panel will be my bust length, which I've measured to 32, and I will add 2 cm for seam allowance, which will be 34 for me. And you'll have to cut 2 of these panels for the front. For the back, we'll have this measurement here, depending on how much you added here, plus 4 cm seam allowance. For me, I round it up to 80 centimeters, and I will divide this by 2. So for the back panels, you'll have to cut 4 pieces with the length 40 centimeters and the width the same width as the front, 34 centimeters. And this is the bodice. For the skirt panels, for the front you'll have the same measurement as you have here. For me 78 here, and the length of the panel will be this measurement, for me 85, depending on how long you want your dress to be. So for me it's 85. Do not forget to add your 1 cm seam allowance and also your hem seam allowance here, 2 centimeters or more. And you'll have to cut 1 of this. And for the back, we also have to cut 1 piece, which will be 80 centimeters in total of this measurement, and the same measurement as we did for the front, 85. You will also may have some straps for the ties and for the scrunchy straps. For the fabric, I will be using this light viscose, which is very drapey. I would also recommend some lightweight cotton, lightweight linen maybe. How much fabric do you need? For my measurements, I will need around 2 meters and a half. So how do you calculate the amount of your fabric? Measure your fabric width and see how much of these panels, depending on your measurement, enters in your fabric width. So for my measurements, I will have 4 rows, 2 for the bodice and 2 for the skirt. So I will add my measurement for my bodice 2 times and the length of the skirt 2 times. And in total it will be 2.5 meters because we'll need also some straps to make the ties and the scrunchie straps. I have prepared my fabric, I have pre-washed and ironed it. I always recommend to pre-wash your fabric and iron it. And now I will measure and cut my panels, and I will come back with the next steps. Finish cutting all the panels of the dress, and now it's time to sew them together. Now place your back panel on the wrong side, and at the short end here, double fold the edge, like so, to create a seam. Do this at only one end of the panel, so this one leave it like it is, and do this for all 4 of them. This is how the back panel should look like, stitched at only one end. Now take the 2 front panels and place the back panels right sides together, and I will stitch these edges. Do the same for the other panel, stitch these edges, and you can only stitch with only your sewing machine, no serger or zigzag stitch, because we'll place them right sides together and we'll stitch them together. So you don't need to finish these edges. Now let's press the seams open. I forgot to mention that you also need a 7mm wall elastic for the straps. To make the straps, I've cut 2 pieces in the length of 80 centimeters and around 3 centimeters width. Now fold it right sides together and press it in lengthwise so it can be easier to stitch. And now we'll stitch around 9mm from the fold. And try to press also open your seam, it will help later when inserting the elastic. Grab a safety pin and place it at one end, insert it into the strap and turn the strap right side out. And now we'll have to stitch this flat. Cut a piece of elastic of roughly 30 centimeters and grab a safety pin, put it on your elastic and insert it into the strap. So this is how it should look like. Now stitch these ends of the elastic and here's how they should look like, and give them a final press. Now place your panels right sides together, and at the back panels, at these edges here, we'll have to leave small openings for creating the channels to insert our strings. So we'll be creating two channels to insert the strings. The first channel will be at 3 centimeters from the top edge. 1 centimeter will be for seam allowance. Leave 2 centimeters and mark at 3. And the width of the channel will be 1.5 centimeters. The next measurement will be from this point, from your armpit line. Measure over your bust and stop right below your bust. And for me it's 20 centimeters. And from the top line here, measure 20 centimeters and mark. And mark again 1.5 the width of the channel. From your side seam, measure 11 centimeters approximately and insert your strap. Pin it in place. Measure 11 centimeters on the back side as well, from here to here, and put the other end of the strap and sandwich the strap between the layers. Make sure that you've pinned the strap correctly. Stitch from this side, from the back panel, from the side seam. Stitch all the way along the bottom of the back panel until you reach your first mark for the string. Leave this open, go until you have the other mark for the string, leave this open and go around the top, all the way around the top, making sure you stitch also the straps. Go around, and for the other side on the back, do the same. Leave this open, stitch, leave this open, stitch and stitch until you reach the other side of your seam, and leave the front bottom open so you can turn it around. Let's turn it right side out, but before let's trim the corners. Now let's turn it right side out. Push your corners out. And now we'll have to press it. Now we have to draw our lines on the right side so we can create our channels for the string. And remember that we had 3 centimeters left at the top, 1 centimeter for seam allowance. So we'll measure here 2 centimeters and draw our first line here from this line to this line is 1.5 centimeters, so we have our width of the channel. And now find your second opening at the back. Here it is. Measure from your line here to this point. For me is 16 centimeters, and I will mark at 16 centimeters. And also we'll have 1.5 width, and with this measurement I will go all the way until I reach my other back panels, drawing my lines, and then I will stitch on my lines to create my channels. Before sewing the skirt, if you want to add side pockets, now is the time. So let's make the pattern. On a piece of paper, place your hand like so, slightly curved here, and with your finger slightly spread. And now let's draw out the pattern. I am slightly arranging my shape. This here should come in an S shape. And you also have to add seam allowance to this. So I am adding 1 centimeter seam allowance. And you have to cut 4 pieces. Here is a grain line, and you have to cut 4 pieces, 2 for the side, 2 for one side, and 2 for one side. If you don't add pockets, you can skip this step. On your pocket, measure 1 centimeter from this edge and make a mark. And also 1 centimeter from this edge and make a mark. Now, on the wrong side of the front of the skirt, from the waistline, measure 10 centimeters. Align the mark on the pocket with your mark on the skirt. These are on the wrong side. And now mark on the skirt also the mark from your pocket. Take a piece of fusible interfacing and place it on the wrong side of the skirt, between the notches, between your marks, and also place another piece of interfacing on your pocket. And now place your pocket right sides together with the front and stitch between your notches. Clip the seam allowance right at your notches and stitch the seam allowance of the pocket between the notches. Finish the raw edge of the seam allowance between the notches. Now press the pocket towards the wrong side of the front piece. These edges on the front side at the top and at the bottom should stick out. Take the other pocket and place it right sides. Aligning the edge of the pocket with this edge of the skirt and this edge of the pocket with this edge of the skirt. Pin it in place and stitch. Serge this edge from the top, from this point, serge around the pocket until you reach the other point. Now place the back panel right sides together and pin it in place. And here you'll stitch to the pocket. The back panel, you'll stitch to the pocket side. Finish your edges with a serger. Make sure you have catched the corners. Press the pocket towards the front side. Make a few back stitches at each corner. Finish the top edge of the skirt with a serger or a zigzag stitch. Also finish the front of the top with a serger or a zigzag stitch. Take the body and place it right side to the skirt on the front, matching your side seams. And from the top, measure how much your elastic will be. So mine will be around 1 centimeter. And I will mark where my stitching line will be. Here will go the elastic, so you have to stitch from one side to the other side seam, only for the front, and after stitching the front, you'll have to also create an elastic channel on the back, so you'll have to fold the top of the back on the wrong side, towards the wrong side, the width of the elastic, so mine will be approximately 1 centimeter. Stitch your front panel from side to side, and after that stitch your back panel from side to side. grab your elastic, which is the measurement of your waist. So fold your elastic in half and make a mark here. So insert this half of the elastic into the channel from the back. And the other half will be for the front. And we'll have to make a few stitches here. And now pin also the other end. And now you have to make a few stitches here, so you can keep it in place. And now simply fold your top over the elastic. And stretch your elastic while you sew. So I've cut also my two straps. This is 4.5 centimeters width, and the length is the measurement of your bodice from the back, around the front and the other back. So measure this and cut your straps, fold it right sides together lengthwise, and you have to stitch 0.5 centimeters. So you should have the width of the strap of 1.5 centimeters. So I've also pressed my straps after stitching, and now I'll take my loop turner and turn them on the right side. So here they are all pressed. I've tucked a little bit the corners in the inside and stitched them, and they are ready to be inserted in the channel of the dress. So grab one safety pin, put it at one end and start inserting them in the channels. The final step is to hem the dress. So I will be making a baby hem. You can watch this tutorial here, how to make it. And that's the end of today's video. I really hope I was able to teach you something new today. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe so we can be sewing friends together. If you do try to make this dress, I would love to see your results, so please tag me on Instagram with My The Dressmaker. I do try to post every week a new sewing tutorial, so stay tuned to my channel. And thank you for hanging out with me today, and happy sewing!